You like shiny amps? Well, here we have the Chrome Autotek Street Machine 4-channel from the early 2000s. Let's find out more about it and let's try it on the amp down and see how much power it puts out. What you think? I agree.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Autotek is a name that's been around for quite a while in car audio, with amplifiers way back to the mid-1980s, including the Bass Thrust Series BTS, as well as the models as shown here, the Model 66. These amps were typically made by Z Audio over the years until the late 90s. There seems to be a gap between that and 2004 when Maxonics purchased Autotek. We have this amp that we're going to show today. It was made in around 2001. You can see it's made in Korea. So we pull out the 2002 Car and Electronics directory so we can look this model up. It is the Street Machine. We can see there's a couple pages of Autotek. Here it is, the SX4160. It shows $600, 100 watts by 4. So let's take a look at the amp we have. It has this cool looking logo here in Street Machine. And here it is, nice and polished. It looks kind of chrome. It might be polished aluminum, but it looks chrome. And here you can see on one side we got a lot of different features. Let's talk about each one. We have line input up to 4 channels of input, RCAs, and we have the variable high pass, also this 2 to 4 channel switch. We have low pass variable, bass thrust at 42 Hertz, and level controls for channels 1, 2, 3, and 4. It also has a line level output, which has a selectable crossover as well, and power protect LEDs on the far end. So there's a lot going on this side of the amp. And unfortunately, my channels 1 and 2 level control potentiometer was broken off, so I couldn't adjust it. So we had to go with channels 3 and 4 for the most part. On the other side, you can see the old school screw down terminals that accept the spade style connectors and a 40 amp fuse. It is a 4-channel amp, so there's 8 different connectors there, and then the 12 volt remote and ground for the power remote turn on and ground connection. I like the way these terminals work with the spade connectors, or the fork style connectors that some people call them, because it does hold it down well. Now I was able to find some old information about the amp showing 100 watts by 4 at 4 ohms, 150 by 4 at 2 ohms, or 320 watts bridged. And again, the original MSRP was around $600, which is pretty expensive to be honest with you. Now that we've gone over the features and the specs, let's get the amp hooked up to the amplifier dyno so we can test out the RMS power of this amplifier. First off, we're going to try the 4-channel test. At 4 ohms, it's rated 100 watts by 4. Certified test here takes us up to 1% distortion. We are using a 1 kilohertz track. And yeah, we came up a little shy, quite a bit shy. 66 watts per channel where it's rated 100. Now let's try it up to the clipping point, see if we can get any more power. And here we go. No, almost exactly the same. 66 watts per channel at 14.38 volts. Now let's try the dynamic track, which sends a dynamic pulse into the amp at 1 kilohertz. Test the amplifier's ability to put out more power, 73 and 75 watts, so around 74 watts per channel. Now let's move to the 2 ohm test. It's rated 150 watts by 4, and yeah, 94 watts per channel. Underperforming like a boss. Now let's try uncertified up to clipping at 2 ohms in the 4-channel mode. We don't expect to get much over 100 watts, even if we get there. And no, we get 94 watts per channel once again. So yeah, they definitely overrated this amplifier, no doubt. Dynamic burst, 1 kilohertz. Now we do get over 100 watts here. Still don't get that 150, and we're right at 14.4 volts. So about 122 watts per channel at 2 ohms. Now we're going to bridge the amp down into the 2-channel mode because this is a 4-channel amp. And let's see, it's rated 320 watts per channel. And we get about half that, 163 right at 14.35 volts. Once again, we'll try the uncertified test. If it's like anything else shown before, we should get right around 163, 165, something like that. Oh, we get a little bit more, 179 at 14.28. Now we'll try the dynamic track. See what we get here dynamically. We did use the 40 hertz tone here for the bridge test. And 200 watts at 14.44, well shy of the 320 it's rated. Now let's flip the amp over and take off the 6 screws on the bottom. These are Allen head screws so that we can take a look at the guts of the amplifier. First thing I noticed is this back plate, super thick and super heavy, which adds some weight to the amplifier. Here you can see the internals. This is a Class AB 4-channel amp. Appears to be a generic design out of Korea, not based on any particular model like any of the Z amps or anything. 35 volt 2200 microfarad capacitors, as well as 16 volt 3300 microfarad. They are 105 degrees Celsius. There you can see the model is stamped on the amplifier. You can see some of the riser boards here. Also notice the daughter board, which is the input section. That's kind of separate than the rest. And the way the fuse is set up here is kind of janky. It looks kind of cheesy how they have this mounted. But it is good to have a fuse on an amplifier, because Team No Fuse, it's not a good place to be. So overall, here is the guts of the amp. There was the test. Hope you guys enjoyed this quickie of the Autotek Street Machine SX 4160. Yeah, with a super thick bottom. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check links for other videos I have listed here, and also my main channel, Wilson Audio Labs. This is Big D. Till next time, I'm out.